What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, here to bring to you my takeaways and analysis video for this week's game versus Indiana. Let me just get off right off the bat and just let me say it. This is a real ho-hum, to be honest with you, real indifferent game to me. Nothing really stood out to me. Nothing was impressive. It was just your average game, and I wasn't too impressed with the way the game turned out. I mean, obviously the score is obviously in our favor. The game wasn't really close at all, but I guess I just expected more from this game. I expected us to do more, and what we got was just pretty much a whole lot of the same. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about the game. Do you feel that it was, to your expectations? Was it above your expectations? Below? Let me know how you feel in the comment section below. But to me, I was personally pretty disappointed with how the game turned out. Nothing. I mean, Haskins got a career high in the amount of yards for the game and stuff like that, but it's just the same old stuff. The red zone again, struggling to score touchdowns. Had a couple of good, tight end touchdowns to Schoonmaker, but once again we're settling for field goals, and it's going to bite us in the butt like it did the previous week with Michigan State. We got at least 2 games now. We got the Penn State game, and then obviously the Ohio State game. If we play like we played this week against them, just chalk that up as 2 losses. Especially if we get into the red zone against those 2 teams and can't put it in the end zone, we're in deep trouble. There's a few things that I wanted to look out for to see how it was going to go for the rest of the season. First thing was with Andre and Anthony, whether or not I wanted to see how he was going to play. I guess for the rest of the season, whether or not obviously it's just one game, but you played really, really well in that one game. So you're almost interested to see the progression, to see whether or not he could actually be that number 1 wide receiver. And he's pretty much non-existent this game. So I don't know if that was just like a one-off thing, but didn't really see too much of him. Cornelius Johnson ended up being the top wide receiver for the game. He's supposed to be our number 1. To me, he seems more of like a number 2, but it's just one of those things that the offense is real. I mean, if we're not running the football, I'm concerned how this offense is going to fare versus good defenses. So I know people are looking at last week and saying, oh, well, yeah, we can throw the football. Just look what we did last week. Don't count on that. I mean, look how we did this week. I know, like I said, the Haskins had, career high in rushing yards, but Purdue, their quarterback, darn well nearly threw for 500 yards against Michigan State's defense. So, big deal. Against, defenses that actually have a pulse as far as, against the pass, we're pretty pedestrian. And it means that we got to lean on running the football. So if that gets shut down, where does that leave us? That's my fear. That's my concern. Who's going to step up and be that number 1 wide receiver? This game it was Johnson. The week before it was Anthony. You had 1 week where it was Roman Wilson. 1 week is Eric All. I mean, it's like we're all over the place. There's no one person that's, clear and cut your number one wide receiver, and that's a problem. Because it's like, who do you go to when you need a first down? So that's a huge concern to me. Even in that pass play where Cornelius Johnson had that, that big play down the middle of the field, that should have been a touchdown. He had to sit there and wait for the ball to come back. He had to sit there and he had to slow down to catch the football. And by the time he slowed down, the DBs were able to catch back up with him and make the tackle. That he needs to have the ball led to him. He doesn't need to be slowing down and basically settling under the football in order to make the catch. That should have been a touchdown. So the defense played much better, but that's to be expected. They're on their third string quarterback. I think by the second quarter, they had walk-ons as their running backs. So, and the quarterback that started the game for them seemed like he was more of a running quarterback than a passing quarterback. So, I mean, there wasn't really anything to be feared as far as the guy's arm. Obviously, you had to respect his ability to scramble and to, run the football. But, other than that, it was just, I'm not going to take away from the defense, but, when you have those type of opportunities, I mean, you're probably going to do very, very well. Let me just put it to you like that. So, it's nice that we only gave up the 7 points, but this game was much closer than it needed to be. I think they went at least more than 2 quarters without getting a first down, stemming from the second quarter all the way to the fourth quarter. We should have been way ahead of these guys. It should have been 40-something to 7. Easily. But, just like the previous weeks, struggling in the red zone, left a lot of points on the table. And I mean, that pretty much summarizes the game. So, I'm going to briefly run down, the different things. It's really not too much to talk about in this game. It's a game that we should have won. Should have won easily. Should have won by more points than we won by. And in all honesty, it just seemed as though we were struggling out there. And that's got me really worried. So, we got a huge game next week versus Penn State. And we got to play way, way better than we played this week. I mean, considerably better. The red zone trips can't be field goals. They got to be touchdowns almost every single time. Defensively, we're going to be put up to the challenge, especially the fact that it's on the road. So, this was almost like a week off for the defense. But they're going to be tested next week. And they got to be up to the challenge. Hopefully Mike McDonald learned from the Michigan State game as far as the whole substituting pattern thing. Hopefully, we don't get caught like we did, versus Michigan State and just be out of position and be confused on defense. So, you go ahead and rank the position groups. Starting on the offense, running backs, we're going to give them a B. I'm going to say a B+. Haskins had a really good day rushing the football. Blake Corum, hopefully he's not too injured. There's nothing serious. He had another drop, another swing pass, and I'm not sure what's going on with him as far as that goes, Because up until that point, he seemed pretty sure-handed, but it's 2 weeks in a row now that he's dropped, pretty much wide open pass with a lot of room in front of him. So hopefully he can get that cleaned up. Hopefully he's not too injured. There's nothing serious, and he'll be ready, for next week. I'm gonna go for the offensive line. We're gonna give them a C. Gave up a few sacks. Some of them may not necessarily been on their fault, but protection was an issue. So I'm going to give them a C as far as that goes. Did well opening up the holes for Haskins, but like I said, they gave up a few sacks, so obviously that's room for concern. Tight ends, I'm going to give them. I'm going to give them an A. 2 touchdowns. 2 red zone touchdowns. So that's very good. Blocking, very good as well. The tight end position's been actually pretty good for us. Not as far as the pass catching aspect of it, though it has picked up in the last few weeks. But they've been blocking blocking pretty well in the running game and making timely catches for first downs and stuff like that. So I'm happy with the tight ends. Eric All was out this game, and don't know whether it was just more so rest. Like if we were playing Ohio State, he probably would have played, but because it was Indiana, I guess they decided to rest him. But overall, the tight ends played pretty well. The wide receivers, I'm going to give them a B. Nothing great, nothing bad. Just a little bit above average. Cornelius Johnson over 100 yards receiving. Like I said, Andre Anthony got dragged back down to reality. Only 1 catch, I think, for 16 yards. So who knows? Like I said before, that just might be a one-off as far as that huge game he had versus Michigan State. Not anything out of the ordinary as far as the wide receivers go. So, like I said, probably just give them a B or a B minus maybe. Quarterback, give him a C. Nothing out of the ordinary. Took a few sacks. Held onto the ball a little bit too long. JJ threw a pick at the end of the game. Just trying to, show off his cannon of his arm. And pass was a little bit too hot and ended up getting intercepted. But, they played okay. Cade, managed the game. JT came in there, made a few plays, made a few throws. But, like I said in a previous video, there's a reason why JJ is still just the backup and not starting for us. He's young. He's inexperienced. He has the ability to make throws that I know that Cade can't make. But with that becomes ambition. And sometimes when you think that you can fit everything in there, you're going to try to do it. And you might try to do it in the most important time in a key football game. And it ends up hurting us. So, like I said before, if he was the guy, they would have had him in there and continue to have him in there. And obviously they don't, so they feel more comfortable, more confident in Cade taking care of the football and getting the job done to get the win. As opposed to having JJ in there to make an amazing throw or two, but stand the risk of, having your pass picked off or making the wrong read or holding onto the football and getting sacked and, getting the ball stripped and stuff like that. That's why I think that Cade is, still starting. They're giving JJ all the opportunity when he gets in there. This game, they actually had him in for a whole series. So, it's not like they're not giving him an opportunity. So it's interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, when we're playing Penn State and Ohio State and stuff like that, we may not see JJ out there for a whole series, like we did against Indiana this week. That was more of like an experiment just to see how he would do if we just let him, run the offense for one complete series without any, fear of being pulled out. So it was an interesting experiment, but obviously we're not going to do that for the next 3 weeks. Maybe against Maryland if we're up, but other than that, no. I think it's going to be something situational if JJ is to come, in versus versus Penn State and Ohio State. As far as the defense goes, the defensive line played well. Had a few sacks, fumble recovery, strip sack. So it's interesting to see that the combination of Aiden and Ajabo is, as a duo, are leading everybody as far as sacks. So that's interesting. The line played well. This guy that was a running quarterback didn't really have a lot of running room, to be honest with you. I mean, he made a few plays with his feet here and there, but for the most part, we contained him, didn't allow him to do a whole lot. And to be honest with you, Michigan, as far as running quarterbacks go, has been actually pretty good for the season. It's just these other things that end up biting us in the butt. So the linebackers, I'm going to give them a B. Nothing out of the ordinary, but they played well. Not, like I said, not a whole lot of running room. I guess it's kind of hard. I don't know if you consider Ajabo a linebacker or a lineman. He lines up really as a lineman, for third down to try and get a sack. So that's why I haven't really included him with the linebackers, because to me he seems more of a down lineman, just not actually in a 3-point stance. So probably a B for that. The secondary, I'm going to give them a B+. Not a whole lot of running room and not a lot of passing room. I don't even think they got to 100 yards passing for the game, which is really, really good. A lot of deflections, a lot of pass defense, a lot of incompletions. I think he went like 10 for 24. So the secondary did a very good job. Special teams, unfortunately, you have to give them an A-. It was a couple of short punts, but Moody was on point with the field goal kicking. Perfect in that regards, which is unfortunate. I don't even want to see that guy out there unless it's kicking extra points. So to see him out there kicking field goals again was really disappointing. So, that's it for the video. Actually, before I go, there was a lot of people that were pretty much down on Michigan football after the loss versus Michigan State last week. I, for one, was not one of those people. I said that we still have the rest of the season ahead of us. Anything can happen. It's any given Saturday, so to speak. And teams can lose. We were put in the position by us losing that game. It was a real bad loss for us because of the positioning. But, before watching this game, I was watching the Michigan State-Purdue game. And Purdue handled business. And funny enough, it eerily looked like our game. They would get into the red zone and settle for field goals. The only difference is Walker didn't go off like he did against us. So, this is good for us. Michigan State lost, so now they got a loss in Big Ten play, and they still got Penn State and Ohio State that they got to play just like we do. So at this point in time, you just got to win your games. Take care of business winning the football games, and let everything, fall where they're going to fall. I mean, this actually gives us hope now because they have a loss in Big Ten play. If we somehow were able to win out, and they lose one of their last 3 games, then we have an opportunity, to win the Big Ten. But it's going to be a tall task. We got to go to Penn State and win, and we got to, host Ohio and hope to beat them. So those are not easy tasks, but I think we're up to the task. We just have to play some hard-nosed, disciplined football and just give it our all and see what happens. So anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Leave a like on the video if you liked the video. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you made it this far in the video. Let me know how you feel about the game. And if you like my content, definitely subscribe to the channel as I'm trying to grow as big as possible. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. And as always, go blue.